forgot to print an attendance sheet. Should just write your name. Transfer. Okay, on Blackboard, there's a link to get into the classroom. So if for some reason you couldn't make it to class, there is a link, and I do record it sometimes. Like today, it's not making me the full screen. This happened once before last semester, and one student said, "Well, I just put it on my big screen TV, and then I can see it bigger." But not everyone has that luxury. I don't know why it's pinning both of us instead of just me. But sometimes that happens, but at least it's showing the whole screen. Last week, it was only showing this, so whatever I wrote didn't get taken. But you do have that option. So it's on Blackboard, link to online class. Office hours are in here. The link to the classroom and the link for office hours are here. This week we cover chapter 5. Next week there's an exam for chapters 1 through 5. So on Monday and Wednesday we will review next week. Usually depending on how long it takes to review, usually because it's a 50-minute exam, I can review what's on in class part in one class period, or maybe a class and then 10-15 minutes. So then the second part of Wednesday, if you bring your computers or print out the take-home portion of the exam, we can work on it. You can check your answers with your neighbors, and I'll answer questions. So at least the second half of Wednesday next week, that's what we'll probably do. So your exam is 2 portions, an in-class portion and a take-home session. Take-home portion has more of the technology or longer problems. The in-class portion is shorter. So chapter 5 this week, I have videos that I've made when I taught this class online. So those are also up here if you ever miss class or you need more examples. I also have class recordings from previous ones in case today's doesn't work. Okay. Chapter 5 has homework and a group assignment, as always. If there's anything you haven't gotten turned in, if you have a 0, you can still do it. Usually what I do is I don't take off on like homeworks or anything until the exam. So next Friday is the exam. You can still turn things in after that, but I'm just going to give it half credit and turn it back online, or still put it online. But up until the exam, you can turn things in late without losing any credit. Chapter 5. Chapter 5 starts with averages. And I give you a couple formulas. An average grade is when you add all the items up and divide by how many there are. Now that works when they're all the same value. So like this one, labs are 10 points each. So these were all the same value. We could add them all up and divide by how many there are. But when things are different value, they're not all the same possible points, then you need to divide by the total points and multiply by 100. So you have to be careful of that. Course average or weighted averages. When you take each weight, and I'll show you that in an example, multiply it times its weight, add them all together and divide by the total weights. This course is a weighted class. We could look up the syllabus at the end and I'll show you. The first one. Homework and labs are 10, this is an example, are 10 points each, and you received a 10, 7, 8, 10, 10, 9, 0, and a 10. Find the average of the homework and labs. Since all of them are worth 10, we can use that first example. So we could add up all of the grades. We add them all up, divide by how many there are. Adds up to 64 divided by 8. So the mean or average is an 8 for homework and labs. For homework in this class, it's not always the same value. Since it's not the same value, we couldn't use this one to find our average. We would have to use this one. No, in this case, because it is the same, you can use either one. So if we add all of those up, we'll still get 64. But each of them are worth 10 points. So if we want total points, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. It was a possible 80 points. So this one gives you a rate rather than the average value. And then 80% was the average. Wanted to find the average in points, then an 80%, 80% of 10 is 8. But this only works if these were all the same value, which they were. Otherwise, you just keep the percent. So if we had where our possible points were different, then we couldn't use the first example. You can't add them up and divide by 4 because they don't have the same points. This would have to use the second example. So we have 60 out of 70. If I add my possible points. To find the average or the mean, I have to take 60 divided by 70 and see what I get. .86 multiplying by 100 and 86%. So there's 2 ways of finding an average. Just depends on what information you're given and if they're all the same value or not. Any questions on that? Find the current class average for the weighted course. What do you need on the final to get a 95 in the course? Can everyone see this? I didn't know if it was too bright. And this is kind of like our course. The different things are weighted differently. So homework's 10% and you got a 45 out of 60. Exams are 25% and you have 185 out of 200. Group work 40%, 289 out of 300. So you could figure out your grades if you keep track of them like you should. Put them in here and make sure that the formula I put in in the computer works. Now, 45 out of 60, we have to find what percent that is. To find the percent, you take your part divided by your total and multiply by 100. So it'd be 45. So we need to know what these rates are first, since they're not out of 100. If they were out of 100, we wouldn't have to do that. So right now, exams and group work for this person are really high, but homework is really low. Well, the good thing is that homework's only 10% of the grade, so it's not gonna hurt you being that low. If it was in the 40% range, it would really pull your grade down. So you want to be careful of that and know what's weighted higher than other things. The final and the exams are 25%, homework's only 10% of your grade. And that's what it is in this class. And that's why I don't mind doing it on Wednesday, because now I've already started reviewing for the exam. And it's only 10% of your grade. But it's 10% of the grade that should be at 100 because I've done all of the problems. So when you have things that are weighted, they're worth not an equal value as the rest. You take each of your weights times its grade. So 10% times homework is 75. Exams are 25% and you have a 92.5. And group work is 40%. You have a 96.3. We don't have the final yet. And then you divide by the total weight. The total weight is 10, 25, and 40. Any questions on that part? Getting a 92.2. Going to multiply by 100 to get a percent. Getting a 92.2. So right now, if this was your grades, you'd have a 92% in the class. What do you need to get on the final to get the grade you want then? What did I put? Get a 95. You could rewrite those if you wanted. And then include your 25%. And we could have made it a little simpler, and I'll show you. This part here, if you wanted, we already know that that's a 92.2% for the 75. Because we rounded, it'll be a little different. But we could have put the average that we were found. Now we rounded, so it'll be a little different. But you could have used that for this part. Just sometimes when I put that in there, students get a little confused. But that's where it would have come from. So then you weren't calculating that again. So if you use this one, you're getting 69.145. Where if you use this one, you're getting 69.15. That's the same thing when you round. Anyone, any questions? So if you use this whole value again, you'll get 69.145. Because we rounded, this one gives us a little bit different value. Either one is fine. On a test, I would work both of them out so then I had both answers. And if it doesn't match, then I'd look at your work. Okay, so we need this. I used F for final. You need to solve for the final. Couple ways we could do that. We can multiply the denominator to the other side, multiply both sides by 100. But we could also just cancel the hundreds. We want to notice there's two terms on the left side. We want to get rid of the 69.15. How do we move it to the other side? Subtract it. We're adding, so we subtract. Now, if you don't need to write the minus 69 on both sides, you don't need to. But I would show as clear as possible, unless you on a test. Getting 25.85. We're still trying to get the F by itself. How do we get rid of the quarter? Divide. It's being multiplied, do the opposite. Divide. Getting 103.4. So it's not possible to get a 95. If the test is only out of 100, you need 103. More than 100. So if you need a 95 there's certain ones where you have to have a 95. Education has a couple classes. Engineering has a couple classes where you have to hit a certain percentage higher than what an A is. So in that case, you need to go beg your teacher for points. Or shows on your homework. Any questions on that? You'll definitely see one of those on the exam. Probably the in-class portion. A weighted value is also used for grade point averages. They figure grade point average. Now, if you turn or go into the book for this one, they have A pluses, A minuses, and there's different weights for all of those. YSU doesn't use that, so I go with YSU's point value. An A is worth 4 points for each credit. A B is worth 3 points. A C is 2 points. And D is 1 point. And then F is not worth any. So if you are falling behind in a certain class that's worth 5 credits, you want to get that one brought up. And something that's only a 2 credit class, maybe that could get a little lower. Because you get 4 points for each credit. So if it's a 5 credit class, 4 times 5 would get 20 points for an A. Whereas a 4 credit class, if you get a C, you only get 8 points. 4 times 2. So you need to be careful with those larger credit courses to keep your grade point average up. So we'll get this example. This to be a feeder or something. Now you can even do this for your classes. Write down what classes you have, how many credits there are, what grades you think you're gonna have, and you'll know your grade point average. Now, to find the formula for grade point average, this little symbol here, I don't know if we talked about it, but it means to add. Sum or add. So you add up the quality points. And divide by the number of credits. And that gives you your grade point average. Well, we have the total credits, 6, 10, 14. The quality points are how much you get. For example, when we were talking about an A is worth 4 points. So your quality points, you get 4 points for each one of these, or 12. So 3 times 4. The English, the B, those are worth 3 points each, coming from the scale that I gave you. 3 times 3. A B gets me 9 quality points. Or credits, and it's an A, so it's worth 4 points for each one. 4 times 4, 16. C is only worth 2 points each. So then it's psychology. We only get 8. So these are both a 4 credit class. And notice the difference in an A and a C gets you 16 or 18 points. It can really drop your grade point out. So our credits add up to 14, our quality points add up to 45. To find your grade point average, 45 divided by 14. You have a 3.2. Grade point averages range between 0 and 4. Some schools have extra credit for honors classes, so then you could get above the 4. I think we're starting to go away from that because schools won't look at grade point averages from high school anymore because of that. Any questions on? Suppose you're taking 16 credits next semester. What grade point average do you need for a 3.4 combined GPA? So we have 3.2. So if you have to bring your grade point average up to a 3.4, and in some of the colleges, I know education is one of them, you have to have a certain grade point average before you can take your upper division courses. So that would be important if you were at a 3.2 and you needed a 3.4. So then you can use this to find out what you need this semester to get you up there, or if you even can. Well, we know we have 14 credits at a 3.2. So our quality points would be 14 times 3.2. And then we have 16 credits and we don't know what that grade point average is. So it's like the weighted exam. 14 credits at a 3.2. 16 credits, we don't know. And then dividing by total credits to give us a 3 point. So you could look up right now what your grade point average is and how many credits you've taken. And that would go here, the number of credits you took and your grade point average. And then how many credits you're taking right now, add your total credits up, where you want your grade point average to be, and you can solve the equation. It's definitely things you'll use. And if nothing else, it will be on easy. Any questions so far? Now again, we rounded this, so it's going to be a little different. The more decimal places you take, the more accurate it will be. So 14 times 3.2. When you calculate these two, you get a 44.8. And adding these two times 23. Any questions? Okay, go ahead and solve for G. Being at 3.575. So the first thing we need to get rid of that 30. Because we're dividing, what can we do to move it to the other side? Multiply. Because then they'll cancel. Take it one step at a time. We want to get this term by itself. We have 44.8. We're adding it, we're subtracting. $57.2. How do I get rid of the 16? Divide it. I'm multiplying 16 times my grade point average. To get rid of it, I divide. So you need a 3.6. Any questions on that? Now, if you want a 3.2, so say we had this grade point average that we had gotten over there that we need. If we round this one decimal place, and you get exactly a 3.2 next semester, is it going to bring you up to the 3.5 or whatever you need to go up to? So if you needed a 3.2 to move your grade point average up to something, and you rounded this, you're not going to hit it. You're going to come short because you need this. So there's certain cases where if you're rounding, technically you should round up. Because if we just drop this off, we're not going to hit the grade point average we need next semester to get into the upper division. So be careful on rounding. Some cases, no matter what the decimal is, you need to round this up. So if we don't get a 3.3 or a 3.22, a 3.2 is going to come short. You can't just drop that off. Any questions on that? Oh. Is everyone okay with grade point? Had a problem I was gonna do, but it's too much like your group assignment. I don't want to. I wanted to one case. Just make sure. So Bob has a 2.9 cumulative GPA and 45 credits. This semester, he took 3 4-credit courses and earned an A, a B, and a D. He also took a 3-credit course and earned a C. for 11. So he has a 2.9 GPA. $45 credits. These were from the book. This semester, he took 3 4-credit classes. And he earned an A, a B, and a D. And then 3-credit class. And got a C. Find the semester and then the cumulative grade point average. So to find just the semesters, we would use this. And then once we get that, we would combine it with this for your cumulative grade. We know an A is worth 4, a B is 3, a C is 2, and a D is 1. So that scale you'll have to memorize, which you should already know because it's live sheets. Then multiply across. 4 times 4 is 16, 4 times 3 is 12, 4 times 1 is 4, and 3 times 2 is 6. 4, 8, 15. 10, 20, 38. That D really hurt the grade point average. 38 divided by 15 is 2 point. I'm going to round it to 2.5. Any questions on the grade point average? Now, if you see your grade point average and then you want to find the cumulative grade point average, you have a 2.9 with 45 credits. So 45 times 2.9, that will give me approximately my quality points from before. And then I add on, I had 15 credits at a 2.5. Divide by total credits. Now, if you're entering this all at once, you have to put parentheses on your top and bottom, or do each of them separately. So that semester with the 2.5 dropped your grade point average a 1/10 of a grade. D in a 4-credit class could really hurt. Any questions on that? If you do not have any questions, I will see you on Wednesday. Try the homework ahead of time.